Hello, my name is Dan Alban. I'm a senior attorney at the Institute for Justice. I'm joined here by IJ clients Anthonia Nwaorie and Gerardo Serrano, who are clients in our forfeiture cases. Earlier today, we were up on the Hill for a briefing on federal civil forfeiture reform. We were joined by Representative Wahlberg, a Republican from Michigan, and Representative Raskin, a Democrat from Maryland, both of whom have supported federal forfeiture reform efforts. And they spoke in support of forfeiture reform and in opposition to the abuse of forfeiture laws. And I think we have a brief clip we're going to show.
But in this great country, the presumption of innocence has to be first and foremost.
What we're looking at is a series of shakedowns across the country. And you know, if you don't think that the government makes mistakes in cases like this, you're too innocent to be let out of the house by yourself.
That was Representative Wahlberg, followed by Representative Raskin, speaking earlier today at our forfeiture reform event on the Hill, where we presented research from the Institute for Justice, heard from the congressmen about their efforts to reform civil forfeiture, and also heard from our clients, Anthonia and Gerardo, about their terrible experiences having property seized by United States Customs and Border Protection, CBP. And we'd like to share their stories with you today. And we'll begin by talking to Anthonia, who is a registered nurse from the Houston area in Texas, and who for the past several years has been running a medical clinic in Nigeria. Could you tell us a little bit about that, Anthonia?
Yes, in 2014, I started a free medical clinic in Nigeria, targeting mainly children and their mothers. But meantime, when we do go yearly, which we're still doing since 2014, we do assessment to everybody that's able to come to the clinic and give them some medications too.
Okay, and this is something you're doing once a year for about a week or two each year?
Yes.
And as I understand it, you have plans now, though, to expand it to be a year-round clinic. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, since that 2014, my goal has been to really have a place, a clinic built where these people can come when they need the help, when they need medical assessment or medical treatment that a clinic can give them.
And you've been saving money toward that end and planning to put the money that you've saved towards building this clinic building?
Yes, this saving started since really back 2010. And I've been saving, working towards that, and that's how I get the money to go each year, buy the medications, and be able to get nurses too when I go there to help me do the clinic.
And so you hire the nurses yourself out of your own money to help run the clinic?
Yes.
And this is a clinic, again, you're not charging anyone for the services?
Oh, it's free clinic to everybody that comes in.
Okay. And you had saved up some money by October 2017 when you were going to take a trip to Nigeria, is that right?
Yes. I had saved up some money, and during the period of time from that 2010, gradually in 2017, I had enough to say I'm going to start doing something about the building, since I know too that it's going to take me some years when I start. So I was going with what I had saved, everything that I had saved.
And that was a little over $40,000, is that about right?
Yes, $41,377.
Okay. And you were flying internationally to Nigeria for the clinic. Did you know that you were supposed to file a report with U.S. Customs when you were leaving the country, reporting that you were traveling with more than $10,000?
No, I had no idea.
And so when you boarded the airplane that day on October 31st, what happened?
I had checked in and went through security and just walking down the jetway, and a man stopped me. I was startled But I guess I come to think about it, now that I know he was an officer. So the first question was what started me. He said, how many people are you carrying money for today? And how long have you been in this country? And how many of you are traveling? All these questions coming through didn't give me a chance to answer any one of them. So anyway, I told him that I am going for a medical mission. I'm traveling alone. I'm not carrying money for anybody. All the money that I have is my money.
And did he ask you how much money you had on you?
He asked me, how much money are you carrying there? And he pointed to the handbag I had on. I said $4,000.
And is that what was in the handbag?
Yes.
And where was the rest of the money?
Hand luggage that was on the ground.
Okay. And so what happened after that?
After the questions, he said, you go down that way. There are people who are going to check you out.
And did they search your luggage, or what did they do?
They took me to another section of the jetway and took my purse from me, of course. Opened it. They said, is this the envelope that had the $4,000? So they took that. Then they took my hand luggage and poured everything on the floor and started searching, and they were talking to themselves very condescendingly and saying, oh, because the money that I had was not in one envelope. They were on individual envelope. As I go to the bank each time and get them, I didn't really combine them together. Plus, I felt like too it was a security thing for me. If I lose one, I'm not losing all of it. Mm-hmm. So I put them like that in separate sections of my clothing that is in my hand luggage. Mm-hmm. So they just pour everything out and start bringing my clothes, and of course, the envelopes are coming and they're going, discovery. One of them says, oh, wow, this is how they carry money around and they smuggle money out of this country, do whatever they want.
So they thought you were a money smuggler or something?
I guess that's what they were saying, not thought. That's what they were saying.
And did they seize your money then?
They took my money. They took my money and they gave me my purse and carried my hand luggage. And I said, okay, can I go now? You have my money. Can I go now? I need to catch the plane because I have to travel. They said, no, you're not traveling today. So they called the airline and asked them to bring back my luggage that I checked in.
And so how long were you detained at the airport?
6 hours.
And did they charge you with any crimes?
Not that. They did not tell me this is why we take your money or this is what your crime is.
Okay. So how did that affect your plans to open the permanent medical clinic in Nigeria if they'd seized all of your money?
I could not initiate what I planned to do in 2017. And not only that, 2017 up till now, really, even though my money's been returned, it really has slowed down what I planned to do.
Okay. Now, you mentioned just now that your money has been returned, so let's cut to the chase on that. They took a number of months to evaluate your case, and ultimately they missed their deadline to file their forfeiture complaint. When they did that, what did they tell you, or did they send you a letter or something letting you know what was going to happen next?
They told me that day that they took my money that they gave me the instruction of never to call them until after 30 days, mm-hmm. and they will contact me. Well, since I traveled, I had to make several other arrangements to go for the clinic in Nigeria. Fortunately, before I came back, my daughter was able to receive the letter that they sent to me at my home address here in Texas, and was able to find Institute for Justice.
Okay. And so after you reached out to IJ, we ended up filing a lawsuit on your behalf. But I think before we did that, Customs sent you a letter saying they decided they were not going to pursue forfeiture of your cash, and they were going to return all of it. But you had to sign an agreement waiving a bunch of rights and agreeing not to sue them, not to seek interest, not to seek attorney's fees. What did you think when you got that letter?
I felt so bad, and I felt another slap on my face. They had my money for 7 months, and now they are giving me conditions for which I have to get my money back. They had checked how the money came. They have given them information from my bank, from my workplace, so they traced how every penny of that money got to my possession. But that was not enough for them. They want me to sign away my rights.
And so you didn't end up signing that agreement.
No,
What
I
did you do
didn't.
instead?
I asked, with the advice of Institute for Justice.
Yeah. So we filed a complaint in your case. We filed a lawsuit the day before. They gave you 30 days to sign this
To sign it.
agreement to get your money back. And I think the day before it was due, we filed this lawsuit saying, you need to return Antonia's money, and you can't hold harmless agreements like this, asking people to waive their rights when they're legally entitled to have their money returned. And we did that as a class action lawsuit, not just on behalf of you, but anyone who is in your situation. So you sort of alluded to this a little bit earlier, but about a month after we filed the lawsuit, what happened?
They returned my money.
And you just got a check in the mail, is that right?
Yes, initially when I saw it, I thought, oh, it looked like IRS money, IRS check.
But there was no explanation,
No letter. It was
And-
just the check.
no apology,
Nothing.
and they didn't make you sign the hold harmless agreement.
No, they did not.
Okay. And so ultimately, from when your money was seized until when you got that check in the mail, it was about 7 months?
Yes, and a little bit over 7 months. Yes.
Now, a lot of people might wonder, you already have your money back. Why are you continuing with this lawsuit against CBP?
Primarily because I know, as at today, I have come to understand that there are several other people out there who were not able to get anybody to fight for them, who did not know that they had a right to ask for their money back or their property back. At least today, I know that I have a right to have asked them what they were doing or how to get my money back. So I am advocating for other people who have been in my position, because that was a very bad nightmare I would not want to go through, and another person going through that.
Sure. Yeah, so there are hundreds or thousands of people who were put in the same position. They were entitled to have their money returned, but CBP demanded that they sign a hold harmless agreement releasing their rights to sue the government, to seek interest or attorney's fees or anything else, even to possibly file a FOIA lawsuit about their case. And so we're continuing forward with your case in order to prevent that from happening in the future.
That's wonderful, and I think it will help other people. Really. Something has to be done, really. Something has to be done. It's not a very good experience. It's not anything that anybody who've earned their money and paid their taxes on their money should go through that type of treatment by people who are supposed to protect you or help you really save that money.
Yeah.
They take it without minding or caring and treat you like you're nobody.
Well, hopefully our lawsuit will put an end to that, and we'll be able to secure a victory, not just for you, but for thousands of other people who have been put in a similar situation.
That would be wonderful.
Well, let's turn now to Gerardo Serrano, who also had property seized by U.S. Customs and Border Protection, but in a very different sort of circumstance. Gerardo, you're a real estate investor who lives on a rural farm in Kentucky.
Yeah.
And you had just recently bought a truck. Could you tell us about that truck that you bought?
Yeah, I bought a truck. My old truck died on me, and I tried to get it fixed, but the dealer said I needed a new motor and new turbos on it, and that was going to be about over $8,000. So I decided I'll just buy a new truck.
And what'd you get?
I got an F-250. I got an F-250 in it, brand new. It was almost $60,000 truck. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, they're expensive today. Okay, and I was happy with it. And 10 months later, I was planning to go see my family in Mexico. I have some family there. One had to do with a business thing, but the other thing is my mother's sister's still alive, so I kind of wanted to see her.
Okay. And so you drove down to Texas, and then you were planning to drive to Mexico with your truck.
Yeah.
And you were going to cross the border at Eagle Pass, Texas.
Yeah, I was taking pictures along the way. I left. I had a gun, so I left the gun, a small caliber gun. I left the gun with my second cousin, and I gave him a box of bullets that I bought in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Okay, we'll get back to that later. Let's tell me what happened at the border in Eagle Pass.
So the border in Eagle Pass, I was taking pictures, and as I was taking pictures at the bridge, I was trying to get different angles of it. Border Patrol agents walked by, and they saw me taking pictures there. Hey, and they yelled at me and waved me. Hey, you can't do that. I said, well, I didn't mean to take pictures of you. I was trying to get the bridge. But I'll delete it. And I showed my camera from a distance because I put it on the passenger side because I didn't want them to grab it. And I said, you see, I deleted it. I really didn't want to take your picture. So from there they said, oh, listen, you're gonna have to park your truck over there. I said, hey, look, I'm close to the border. Why? And they said, he just opened the door, unlocked the door, opened the door, and unbuckled my seatbelt and yanked me out. And the reason my window was all the way down is because I just paid a toll, so it was still down. And he yanked me out of the truck. And I tried to explain to him, hey, look, you can't do that. I'm an American. And
so did they end up searching your truck, or what happened?
so the next thing you know, a team of border agents went in my truck. One guy drove it to the area they wanted me to drive it to. And the next thing you know, there was about 5 people on that truck. Inside, front door, passenger side, back seat, one up on the roof, the other one underneath. They were trying to find something.
Okay, and I understand what they found is in the center console of your truck, there was a magazine with 5 bullets from your pocket pistol, but not the gun itself.
Correct. It was 5 bullets of a .380, which is half the size of a 9mm. It's a pop gun, basically. It's not. It's for defensive purposes only.
Did you know those bullets were in the car?
No, I didn't. I didn't know they were there.
Okay. And what did they say when they found?
Oh, that one yelled out, "We got him."
Okay.
We got him. I don't know what they got, but I was very confident there was no contraband. I was very confident. I don't do drugs. So what do they have? I even had a look. What do you have?
And what they had was the 5 bullets.
And the guy put his hand out, and there was a magazine, which I can recognize, and my 5 bullets inside it.
Okay. And what did they end up saying was the basis? So they ended up seizing your truck over this. What did they end up saying was the basis for the seizure?
They said I'm smuggling munitions of war to Mexico.
Okay, and you were driving from the U.S. into Mexico.
Into Mexico, yes.
And normally they don't search vehicles going into Mexico. They search vehicles coming back.
Exactly. When I was a kid and my parents used to go there, I've never experienced that before.
Okay.
And so I haven't been there in 20 years, and I said, when did they change this policy?
Okay. So they said that these 5 bullets from a pocket pistol constituted munitions of war, and that was why they were seizing your truck.
That was the reason.
Okay.
And if you know anything about this ammunition, a .380, You can't start revolutionary wars with this. It's It's a 3.5 inch barrel, real small barrel. The guy has to be real close to you in order to get a
But
shot.
the gun, again, was not in the car. It was just the bullets.
No, the
Okay.
gun is not.
So, were you ever charged with any crimes?
No. As a matter of fact, I was so confident that I was going to get my truck right away that I wallowed there in Texas, between Texas and Mexico, waiting to see maybe they're going to call me up.
How long did you wait there?
I waited an extra 2 weeks, I think.
You waited 2 weeks for your truck to be given back to you.
Yeah, and eventually I went back and I said, hey, look, I got this paperwork there was this paperwork that they gave me, but they also mailed one to my house. And I said, I got this done. I got a $3,800 check, a bond. I had to come up with 10% of whatever it was worth, and they determined it was over $3,800.
So you paid a $3,800 bond for the truck because they assessed it at $38,000 or something.
Right. I ended up opening up an account in a bank in Eagle Pass, and I wrote a check, and I was ready to get my truck back.
Now, did they give you a hearing or anything there where you could contest the seizure of your truck?
No, they explained to me that you're not getting your truck, sir. This is a very, very long process. You're not going to get your truck this week or next month.
And so eventually you left. You didn't stay in Eagle Pass.
Well, eventually I had to figure out how to get home, and so I went to rented a car, and I told them, look, I want to go to London, Kentucky. I'll drop it off there. And they said, well, that's $500 or more. So I said, well, look, give it to me for 30 days. I'll return in 30 days, because still I'm thinking they're going to give me my truck, because why would they keep it? There's no reason for it. Went over there to Kentucky for 30 days, came back, redid the lease again for 30 more days, and I did it for 3 or 4 times, I can't remember.
Okay.
Until my cousin says, look, I don't think they're going to give you that truck. And I
Right.
said, I think you're right, so what do I do? He goes, leave the truck, we'll drive you home.
Okay. And then you ended up repairing that older truck and spending the money to get the new engine, right?
Well, the beautiful thing is my cousin happens to be an expert mechanic in diesel. And apparently the dealer was wrong. It didn't need a motor. It was an AC clutch, which is a $200 part, and my cousin got it fixed in 15 minutes.
Okay. Tell me about the expenses you incurred while your truck was seized. Did you still have to pay? Did you still have to pay the loan on the truck? Did you still have to pay for insurance?
Because part of what I have to do is I invest in property when I see something worth buying. I have to keep my credit high, because in case I need to, I don't have the money and I have to borrow money. So I had to continue keeping my credit in good shape. So I had to keep paying my payment of, I think it was $672, $73 every month. And then I also called them, can I stop paying the insurance because I don't have the truck? And they said, oh no, you still have to pay the insurance. But I said, it's parked somewhere. And they said, no, you still have to. And I said, okay. And then I also had to pay the sticker for it every 6 months. I ended up losing the warranty that was in it, because it was a 10-month-old truck. So I ended up losing the warranty of a 3-year warranty that I had, because they had it for 25 months.
Okay. And so the government never filed a forfeiture complaint against your truck. It never tried to actually forfeit it. They just took the truck, gave you some paperwork to fill out, took your bond, and then things just dragged on forever.
And I kept calling. I called the paralegal over there. Hey, listen, I need to find out. Give me an approximate date. You've had this experience before, right? How long is this going to take? He goes, oh, sir, you decided to have a court date. You decided to go to circuit court. It's going to take a lot longer. I said, why? He said, because we're busy over here. The judge is very busy. So who knows how long it's going to take? Well, it turns out.
Well, they never actually filed the forfeiture complaint in the first place to forfeit your truck, so it wasn't even in court. So eventually, you found out about IJ.
Right.
And contacted us, and we ended up filing a lawsuit on your behalf to get your truck back.
Correct.
And part of it was also a class action lawsuit against CBP, because lots of other CBP seizes vehicles from lots of people at or near the border, and doesn't offer any kind of prompt hearing for them to contest the seizure of their car. And so people are in a position like you where for months or years they don't have their vehicle, even if they're totally innocent, even if the charges are bogus or there are no charges at all, or they make up some Mickey Mouse thing about munitions of war based on 5 pocket pistol bullets. Lots of people end up in this situation. And so the idea behind the lawsuit was, let's put an end to this and make sure that people get a hearing.
Let's put an end to it, especially if you love this country, and I love my country, no doubt about it. But I also have children and grandchildren, so let's make a brighter future for them, because obviously I'm not leaving this country just the way it is, with my kids taking the baton once I'm gone. I need to get this changed, or we need to get it changed for our children at the very least.
And what happened after you filed your lawsuit?
After we filed the lawsuit, it was about 30 days or so, and they said, come pick up your truck.
Just like that, out of the blue?
Just like that.
And how long did they have your truck altogether?
They had it for 25 months. And you got to remember, okay, there was options. They give you an option, and one of the options is, hey, look, you can give us a certain amount of money, and we can give you back this truck, but if it's enough, or I don't know, it's a shakedown, I call it, but there's another legal term for it. And I of course, I took the option of going to the circuit court. And you got to remember that if I would have taken that option, let's say they said, okay, it'll be $3,000 or $5,000, and you can get it, because it's a $39,000 truck. So for them, it's easy to say, give us the $5,000, you can get it. You also still have to pay the storage for your vehicle. So it's been 2 years times what, $36 a day, something like that.
Did you end up having to pay those fees?
No, they told me to come pick it up. And what the beauty about it is, IJ was with me, the attorneys at IJ, and they wanted us to sign something. He goes, you got to sign that. And IJ attorney that was with me said, we're not signing anything. We're just going to take the truck and leave. They gave me 4 new tires, which I didn't see it. The IJ attorney noticed. Hey, you got new tires? And I looked, and it goes, yeah, they did. They opened up the hood, and I had 2 brand new batteries. And I think one of the IJ people said, this never happened before. This is the first time that we've ever seen this before. So they gave me a lot of things new, but unfortunately I had mold on my carpet. I had to do some work on it. But
okay. And your case is still ongoing. I think it's on appeal right now to the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit. So if you follow IJ, you can find out what happens in both Gerardo's and Antonia's cases. If you want to learn more about their cases, you can go to ij.org and read about their cases and other forfeiture cases that we litigate. We'd sure appreciate it if you'd share this video with your friends so they can hear about IJ's cases and our campaign to end civil forfeiture. Thank you very much for your time, and thank you, Anthonia and Gerardo, for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you.